Misali yat it anasmu ka itukena yak isle tolomono. Komkomno yatsi tatatya ta ana ta kamina sa ipani spu sa ipeleke sa itiotio sa istumu yaki spuspu ta ana mana asa hwala waka ishjono wa yaki sisimismu sa itukotlo nilpasini wa nispuspu ta awa yak ishjono wa yak isisimismu sa ana yaki telee yaki telee sa isakwa tokiyama wa ksimu watakinu sepete wa sa kumanaa sa itutiali spuspu sa imitia ka awa komkono sa sa kinisi sakwa sapasi ka ikinahona yaki tutu sa ana ta atahlasho ka isakwa sa ekutelee ka isakwa sa ekutititu tiapa sumanaa washumokeni yak isla snak sakrinasmu wa yak isla stumu wa yak isla sapima yak ikinitiani nispuspu yak isla tolomono sa yakikikiksmu
One, two, three, four.
Music and art are languages of liberation. Music provides a soundtrack for revolutionary thought, while art opens us up to different perspectives. They both encourage individual and collective imagination, which make cultural waves that go beyond themselves and affect every layer of society. Music provides liberation for our voices. A scream, a chant, randomly remembered lyrics and phrases. Crescendo, catharsis. I think of screaming as the most satisfying form of catharsis. As jarring as it can be when you don't expect it, a scream is the expression of your voice in purest form. That's why screaming is an important part of my performance. There is an empathic connection between performer and audience that gives both a sense of understanding. The process of making art is different from making music. For me, it is more inward focus, a form of meditation. journey that takes me to self-reflect. Ideally, the final piece of art leads to cognitive dissonance in the viewer, which causes them to assess their own perception and enter a state of self-reflection as well. The goal of my work, no matter which medium, is to encourage imagination, because this is the most important tool that we have. We must be able to speculate and imagine so-called impossibilities, because the future is built on our imaginations.
Hey there, my name is Sinclair, and I'm a chef, dietitian, DJ, and community organizer. I spent my younger years in LA, and then I spent the next half of my life up till now in the Bay Area. And what I'd like to talk about right now is just the power of music and art, and in my personal liberation, and how it's just such a powerful tool to connect communities. One thing that I think is so special about music is that you can use it as a way to connect with yourself and your own process and your emotions, or it also is something that connects people, people through struggle, people through empowerment, through love, through joy. And I really appreciate music for that. In my own personal life as a teenager, as a young gay teen, I didn't exactly have all the outlets. I really was desiring to live my life the way I wanted to live it. So a lot of that I got through music, through watching MTV and through listening to K-Rock. And I did have access to underground gay dance parties that I could go to sometimes. And all those centered around music and dancing and understanding who you were. And music really kind of inspired me to feel safe, to understand who I was and know that I was okay, that there were other people like me out there. And it kept me dreaming and knowing that even though in my teenage existence at home that I wasn't getting to live the way I wanted to, that out there was a world for me, beyond just the radio waves, And after I got out of high school, inspired by music and members of my community that I met through music, I moved up to the Bay Area, and I found the spaces I needed to feel more comfortable in myself. This was punk shows, gay dance parties, music events. All of them were connected in that way. We were there to celebrate and dance and take in sound together. It's been useful for me to connect to my self-expression through poetry, through DJing, like music's helped me to get connected with my ancestry, with my diaspora, it's really allowed me to connect with folks on this plane and with ancestors centuries, years ago that I may not have any other connection with, and for that I really appreciate music. It's been cool to see how punk music in so many different communities has inspired us to question authority, live life more based on our terms, our rules for us, It's made me look at who I am and what do I respect, how do I want to live, and apply that and know that I can create the worlds that I want to see, Like, in the punk community, luckily these days there's a lot more unification between black and brown punks, and so we can actually even have these spaces to commune and support and inspire each other in these fields of music that maybe when we were younger we were told that was a white experience, but always knowing that was our experience. So through music, finding other people who I connect with and who share these different values or interests, and not feeling like an outsider, Like, music has gave me so many places to not feel alone or outsider and celebrated. And for that, I really honor and respect the process and musicians and ancestors and people who all have raised higher vibrations in me and for our community.
Hi, my name is Lawrence Lindell. I use he, they pronouns, and I'm a musician, educator, and cartoonist from California. I've been making music since I was very little. I started off with the drums and then piano, and now my main focus is piano and kind of like electronic instruments, if you will, or tools. I don't know what to call them, but basically I do like electronic experimental stuff now. I started off in punk, well, church actually. I started drums in church and then went to punk rock. And that's when I really got like heavy into music, when I found kind of freedom in playing whatever I wanted in punk. But then playing in a lot of punk bands got too limiting because the spaces were often white and there was like a standard of what it meant to be kind of like a punk musician. And then I started researching kind of electronic music, and then the origins of that, which I found were black, and so techno from Detroit and like house in Chicago and New York. And I was like, well, my people have always been doing this, why can't I do this? And there's always been kind of a crossover between punk and electronic music too, but by the time I was into the punk scene, it got kind of elitist and very kind of rigid of like what it meant to be punk rock. And so electronic music kind of gave me the freedom to do what I want, and I didn't have to depend on being in an entire band, which is very difficult when there's like 5 other people that you have to be in coordination with and responsible for. So, and then when I found that I could splice in kind of my history, so I started using like sound clips, which is already, people have been doing it for years, but sound clips of like protest and speeches and people that I admire, like Maya Angelou and Malcolm X. And then I felt that that brought a new sense of liberation to my music, because I'm always trying to kind of connect to my past and future and bringing them all into one space. And I find that music is a place to do that. So music is liberating because it gives me the freedom to be who I am, unapologetically. And sometimes sound waves can speak louder than my voice can, so I tend to make music that hopefully does that for people. I never wanted to be seen, which is ironic because my face is kind of all over now with my music and art, but I never wanted to be seen originally. Like, I always wanted to be like behind the scenes type of musician, but I found that if I didn't step to the forefront, people were often misrepresenting me or kind of making my story for me, and I didn't want that. So I chose music, and it liberated me in ways that I can't explain.
What's up, y'all? My name is Roscoe Kicking Stone. I am Two-Spirit. I am Yaqui, Apache, and Isleta Pueblo, and I have been playing music for 23 years. I first picked up my instrument when I was 12, and I began writing music when I was 15. My first 2 instruments were guitar and piano. I later learned how to play bass and drums. And yeah, like when I was 15, me and my older sister decided we were gonna start a band, and so we both learned how to play the guitar and bass at the same time, and just found a drummer and started playing shows at teen centers and pizza parlors. Every once in a while we would just play our instruments on the sidewalk on a busy street just so that we could be out there performing, because that's really all we wanted to do, was play music. And eventually I was able to tour. I've toured up and down the West Coast multiple times. I've toured the East Coast and everywhere in between. So yeah, I mean, music has really just been one of the greatest blessings in my life. In a lot of ways, I feel like it saved my life. It's been very therapeutic, and when I'm playing my instrument, I just feel like I'm being transported into another place, and it's fun. I feel powerful when I'm playing my instrument. I feel like it's magic in a lot of ways too, just to be able to create sounds like that I hear in my head and like make it reality and other people can hear it too. It's just a really amazing feeling, and I definitely believe that it's one of the greatest gifts we have in as a worldwide community, because like anywhere you go, where there are humans on this planet, you'll find music, and so it really is a universal language, and I wish you all the best of luck.
Yacht Abena, Shea Kendra Jones Nashya, Kia Ani Nishla, Na Kaisajini Bashichin, Lukatana Dashache, Na Kaisajini Dashanala, Todaneje Denasha. Hello, my name is Kendra Jones. I was born for the Towering House clan and the Black People clan. My grandparents are of the Reed people and the Black people. I am from Kanta, Arizona. Kanta is a town on the Navajo Nation. It's one of the largest living Native American tribes on the reservation in the United States. The reservation is mostly mono-ethnic. That means that 90% of the people are Native American. So growing up as a biracial woman, it was really hard for me to find my place. And the biggest things on the reservation is sports. So playing sports made it very difficult for myself to actually express myself. The first outlet I was able to find with the help of my brother was music. He introduced me to the world of artistic expression by letting me play his guitar. At the time, this was perfect for me. Even though everyone thought I was very outgoing, I was actually really shy. I was actually very shy, and being able to express myself without words was extremely liberating to me. Even though I wasn't verbally saying anything, this instrument said everything I needed it to. When I became confident in expressing myself with the strings of the guitar, I began to write lyrics to sing. The songwriting process inspired me even further, and I began to write poetry. The music was one thing, but being able to actually put my thoughts and feelings into a creative format was incredible. The things I was scared to say or express, it had now become my freedom, and it opened up a door to let other people read and understand who I was. As an adult, finding a career that I would actually love, I decided to choose something artistic. I chose to become a cosmetologist. Doing Cosmo, I was able to use my hands to help others express themselves artistically, whether that be bright pink hair or cutting their long hair short for the very first time. While doing so, I was able to start doing other people's makeups and become a makeup artist with special effects, drag, whatever it may be. I've always loved doing my own makeup, so getting to help others get creative with their own, with bright, bold colors and contrast, it was extremely fun and liberating. I even dabbled in the film industry with special effects and helping other artists find their own voice. It reminded me that amazing things of art can be creative expressions and really anything that you want it to be. Music, drawing, makeup, dancing, whatever makes you feel good and free is what you need to value and pursue. The freedom of expression is anything you want it to be. It's not one single thing or the other. So follow that.
Hi, my name is Adie Robertson. I'm a musician and a visual artist. I live in Los Angeles. And I started off my art practice and playing music 20 years ago in a punk band. And I was making zines at the time. And I taught myself how to play drums. And I started making album art for other people and album art for my own bands. And I think what I really appreciate about having that perspective of like the DIY as the start of my art practice, because it really just allows you to kind of experiment and be free with your emotions and how you feel, and to just share it with people. And it doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be like you sharing your authentic self. And I think that is the part about art that's is so freeing. You know, if you can get to a place where you can just tell your story, or maybe even tell people in your family stories. I do that with some of my more paintings of people or portraits of people. I do screen printing around that, and I share images of my family and things that they've experienced in their lives. And just like, I think there's something really freeing about being able to, you know, be honest with who you are to people, and it allows you to connect with people who are similar to you. Like when I did zines and I played in bands, I was playing shows, and I was making pen pals with other people who were feeling really isolated in being Black or brown and punk, and kind of, it just brought us together. And also playing music, everyone connects to music, you know, so it also brings you together with different people. And so I think being creative in those ways really heads towards liberation for everybody and for yourself, like on a personal level. But yeah, I feel like storytelling is a big part of my practice. I tell stories through color and through sound. I tell stories through screen printing. Sometimes I tell stories through sewing things and making videos. And the stories are a way for me to, you know, have some self-reflection and to learn about myself, and also to learn about other people too. And because when people see something that I do, maybe they connect to it and we have a conversation, and we realize that, you know, we've actually had a lot of similar experiences. So yeah, I think liberation through art and music is also, it's just a really fun, it's really fun if you can, I mean, it should be fun, you know. Sometimes it can be stressful if you have deadlines or things that you need to do, but usually it's really fun because you're getting to release and you're getting to open up to people, and that once you're feeling that, other people are feeling that, and it kind of, you know, is a domino effect, and then, you know, other people feel that all around you, and in different cities and different states and maybe in different countries, the way that you can connect to people. So yeah.
Well, my name is Stash. I go by Stash most of the time, but Stash Marina is my full name. I make music, mostly rap. I've been a musician for a very long time, since I was a little itty bitty. So I consider myself a musician my whole life, but I started putting out music when I was a teenager. Saying things that I maybe wouldn't say in front of my parents or my parents. Just talk about stuff that got on our nerves and use cuss words and all that. So that was fun. When I think of music, I think that I can't live without it, but that also empowers me because I don't need anything to make it. I can tap my foot, hit a wall, make a sound with my mouth, move something else around. And I feel like with music, it empowers me because no one can take it from me. Liberation is always black. Liberation is not relying on other things outside of you that don't want to see you win to win. Not looking for a yes or no or approval from ideals that you didn't choose to feel or believe. And I say liberation is always black because in me, in my lifetime, and what I've seen, we're always screaming that.
My name is Kahele Mahone, also known as Heavy Pleasure. That is the name I DJ under. I've been a DJ for 12 years now. I'm very much like a people person, and so like being able to do something creative that also like brings people together is, I think, really powerful. One of my favorite things about music is its like ability to like go out of body or like fully in body, and I think that a lot of us, especially like queer and trans people, need spaces where we can feel embodied or like safe places to also disassociate from our body. Some of the most magical, like radical spaces and ideas and things can be birthed on the dance floor. I just feel like music gives us an opportunity, especially when we're coming together collectively and listening and moving our bodies in like a specific container. I think it really has the ability to like defy time and space in this way, and that I think that there's ways to access different ways of being and different like. One, I don't think that there's a lot of time that we find ourselves like gathered with other people and also moving our bodies.
The darkness is her hope. The shadows are her peace. She's a night queen. She's a night queen. When I start playing, I definitely feel like I blast off into another place of freedom. My artist name means the Uhuru verse is my artist name, and it means Uhuru means freedom in Swahili, and then my last name is Moore, which means black. So my name Uhuru Moore means black freedom, and so the Uhuru verse is like the black free universe or the free universe, and so I feel like that's where I go when I do play my music. I don't have any worries about my mobility, disability. I don't have any worries about how much money I have or how little money I have. I don't have any worries about experiencing any type of anti-blackness. I'm just free. I am just sound. I am just music. I become the music. That's where I go. I become like music. I'm like, ugh. And so, I have never been trained, but I feel very confident about the songs that come out of my spirit. Burn ye, O white male patriarchy, burn. I am definitely always critiquing, confronting, and warring with this country and how it is attacking, genociding, and stealing from black and brown people who are native. So that's my practice, and it is. I have a quote that I just came up with recently, which is that systematic racism is personal to me, and so I guess that's how I would say it impacts me. Is that everything that I rap and sing about and play my guitar about is rooted in my personal struggles surviving America as a black, disabled, trans person
who's poor. It connects to everyone because it is for everyone. All of my music is to heal the world, to make it a better place. The song cries are sung to share, to let other people who are oppressed know that there's someone that shares in their struggle, that shares in their pain, that shares in their rage, that shares in their pessimism, and wants liberation, demands liberation, is willing to fight and die and live for liberation. And so it's for us. That's what Fupu, Fupu is kind of named in honor of, for us by us. And I feel like that's kind of what my music is. It's for us by us.